Back in 2022, everyone went wild with the question, what is a woman? It divided the internet, it caused huge fights, and it's still asked of politicians and celebrities to this day. But I think there's an even better question. A question that people have slept on, but that does even more to expose the contradictions within that whole umbrella term of LGBT+. So let's talk about it and see how, in comparison to the LGBT+ worldview, the Christian worldview just makes sense. The question is, what is a lesbian? Can you define a lesbian? A lesbian, people would say, is a woman who is attracted to women. Fair enough. But then you come back to, what is a woman? Where do trans women fit in? Can I be a lesbian? If I decide now, say I actually do identify as a woman, I haven't had any of the changes, medical or surgical, but I identify as a woman and I'm attracted to women, can I be a lesbian? Is there a way of proving that I am actually trans and really do mean it when I say I'm a woman? Or is there some sort of time period where I have to live as a woman for X amount of time before I can be considered a lesbian? Do I have to act like a woman? What does it even mean to act like a woman? The questions that come from this are just staggering. I think the issue was really highlighted by one of Canada's greatest poets who said, "Say that you're a lesbian girl, me too." Banter. And I think where the conflict comes from here is that it's probably fair to say that the LGBT+ worldview comes from the experiences of minorities, people who have been oppressed, who say, this is how I feel and this is how reality is for me, and so here are the things that I want in the world, here's the way that the world can accommodate itself so that I can express myself. For trans people, that'll be everything being very pro-trans in sport and in bathrooms and just in general life, the concept of gender being muddied or eradicated so that they can express themselves and live in the way that they want to. But what happens when that conflicts with the lesbian worldview, who say that we feel oppressed and dominated by men, we feel sexualized by men, and then here you have these men who say that they are trans women coming along and using LGBT+ ideology to say that we should be attracted to them? That just seems like more patriarchy. So then you've got this idea of lesbianism and you've got this idea of transgenderism, both of them saying this is how we feel, this is how we should be treated, and this is how the world should respond to our identity. But those two things clash, and so what do? I really don't see how the two can coincide. Now compare this with the Christian worldview, which people might not like. Okay, the Christian worldview says that God created us in his image, male and female. There's no confusion there. It says that romantic relationships are for one man and one woman. Again, no confusion. It's all based on our identity as people, which comes from God. That's a thing that's given to us and not something that we can create for ourselves. So that's the Christian worldview, which informs our ethic of sexuality and gender. And I know that people don't like that. I don't know if you like it or not, but you've got to admit that there is internal consistency in the Christian worldview as opposed to the LGBT+ worldview, where the L and the T, that's just one example of ways that it is totally contradictory. The God story makes sense and it answers these questions. Now then, I think we as Christians lose so much whenever we try and take these worldviews and force them into Christianity and amalgamate the whole thing. I think that's a big L. And to safeguard against that, obviously we need scripture, but we need to believe certain things about scripture, and those are things that I talk about in this video here, so feel free to check that out. But thanks for being here. See you soon. God bless.
Here we go.